reason. This match really could swing either way. Okay, so your philosophy, where do you go with the fuse kit on Nico with the double flash and smoke for Jame, already setting that utility up. Not enough util to go for the basic set piece. Actually, no, they put that util out to the set piece. They're going fast into the rush towards the A side, but taps a palace dive. Bomb not going out there. One player over the ninja spot. Flames pulling attention away from the player on site itself. Valde got to get checked here. They jump around the corner. Kicker and Buster almost lose their lives. Buster does get dealt with, however, it's Yakindar with a trade.
And they come in quite quickly. Nico fast up towards CT Spawn. Needs to swing out wide by himself, and Kicker finds that frag. That drops the kit now.
Yeah, Lexi B and Man2, last couple of players left here for OG. Watching and waiting and holding their face. Taps on the USPs. Man2 gets Yakindar to drop. So now it's left to a 3 versus 2. Is that going to be the kill that leads to the retake here? 2 more to find a danger. Man2's back turn towards James, though, and Kicker swings out to find Lexi B and find the pistol for VP.
And just remember, too, in that best of one that we got to see on the B stream between Virtus.pro and Fnatic, they had an unbelievable T side of Vertigo. They did struggle to close a little bit in their best of one, but it was just the relentless aggression coming through from them. And you just see it in the pistol. They get the early smokes down, they just flash over the top, they dive out from Palace, and just how quickly those entries come in to give them a very comfortable post plant.
Very comfortable scenario here for the T-side line. Alexi B buying into the scout as part of the force buy here for OG. The Eagles trying to force forward to get aggressive here against the T-side line, particularly over in that ramp control for the moment. It's going to be a 5-on-5, no casualties sustained by either side.
It all just comes down to the timing, really, for Kickit, because right now we could just see him jiggle peeking out from the Palace position, but with that backstab in from ramp, there is a big hole in the offensive that's being opened up. Oh, Kickit's looking back. The timing is everything. Surely he sees Flamesy, sees that first. Can't quite get the second.
Flames has had his moments out towards that T-spawn area. Could have walked right past him. Nico turns around that Deagle on towards Yakindar, however. It's going to be a 4 versus 3 for OG. Frags have found appropriate. Valde getting caught off Jame. Dealt with the 2 now. VP falling apart at the seams.
They're just running out of players. Need to get this kill to Valde. It just doesn't happen. The bomb gets dropped now.
Now he's got an AK that he can pick up. All left to Sanji. Picked apart by Nico. Nice and easy for OG. That felt like a simple conversion, and a lot of conversions coming in for both for all the teams today. OG just winning out the latest of those rounds.
And we do know that OG had the chance of playing NIP in those opening upper bracket games in the best of one. 16-9 that came out against the Swedish side, and at least not winning the pistol, but being able to follow up with the follow-up, at least puts them in a very good position, because now Virtus.pro are back on the force buy, and for OG, their weaponry looks great here.
That map of Mirage was played out in that best of one series and forced NIP into the derby against Fnatic. So OG has already taken some pretty significant hits so far in this tournament. Buster and Valde going back and forth with the trades and a mid control. Overall, it leads towards OG's favor as Yakindar already fallen so early on in this one. Just holding out for that big boy play from VP. We saw it against Fnatic. I mean, speaking of both of those players and both of those teams that faced off against the respective squads here in this best of 3. VP just again, looking for that hero-like style. Right now on the force buy, that's not to be found.
Need to fight from a disadvantage too is always going to be difficult, and with no utility for Sanji, Kickit, or Jame, and 2 players without Kevlar, it's going to be a difficult ask. At least they spot that player of Flamesy, try and overwhelm him out towards the site, but the AK just holds his ground.
Sanji's left alone, deal in hand, facing forward, Valde with a Galil. Hoping to catch him off, he sees that one shot, jump face of the CT player is going to catch off info. Damage being done as Man2 finally swings forward, finally gets the round together for OG and the lead for them as well.
And just in them as a whole, it seems like OG are being pushed in the right direction with their recent changes. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They're able to look incredibly rock solid in the closed qualifier, not even drop a map, and then only just recently winning the Spring Street Spring event. It's got to be a lot of confidence coming into IEM Summer, especially getting into the best of 3s.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we talked to Alexi B in the last few days, and we mentioned before how he's been talking about how the addition of Flames has been fantastic for them and how they needed that win to get confidence coming into this. They defeated Big in that grand finals, and that's not a team that's playing in this tournament, but they are number 8 in the world, so OG have shown that they can take significant scalps in best of 3s, and to take Virtus.pro will be another one to add to that list. Valde finds Yakindar, and that's a start out for the CT side.
Virtus.pro just taking this a bit of a throwaway. It's just a Glock round. You really can't expect a lot to happen. Nico only going for a USP into round 4, realizing the fact that he doesn't need to invest anything. Could probably just buy himself up that M4 into the next round and keep the money line strong.
That's taking his pistol out on the P250 to peek towards the mid control. Doesn't get any kills for it. Doesn't get any contact for that matter. Falls away as Flame Z taps up the head as Sanji. Nice and effective, and Nico looking for his kills on the USP. Better be careful not to lose the head. Kevlar! In the end, he does go down, but still plenty of money for the rifle buy on the gun round. He should buy in. No need for the rest of OG to invest, however. Mantu is still going to pass off the weapon to Nico and get the AWP for his own onus.
Keep it lightly as a bonus, but then obviously still that upgrade coming in. And for Nico, a little bit unnecessary with some of those picks. They did lose the head Kevlar, a little bit extra of investment, but the money is still looking pretty strong for OG. That's not going to make the biggest of differences in the world. AK is going forward now for the Virtus.pro side and looking to start off with a mid default.
Nades on Mantu, tag up to 93 points of health for him. Virtus.pro playing out a much more careful default. They face resistance from OG thus far, and they'll continue to face it as time rolls on, so got to be careful how this plays out.
They just evaded those nades in towards connector, getting that like height advantage rather than being down at the steps. Only tags him up for 7, so really that early util doesn't really do any tag damage at all. And OG are actually taking back this mid control, taking a big emphasis on looking to take some early fights.
Walking up to the top of the mid position, VP. Got Mantu to find first and foremost. Drops the opening frag. M4 and Nico will find Buster, get the bomb in their control. Alexi B still looking up and down. Better be careful about Sanji. The incendiary will force him back, so we cannot exit out of the underpass. They might have heard the tag against him. The Orpa Mantu still watching for James, though. This is basically a crossfire that VP cannot break.
No, they really can't. Even the flash going in towards that underpass position, peek with it onto Sanji, and now even take some further fights up to top mid. They've got the bomb control. Jame and Kicker just probably need to back off, try and see if they can just save onto these AKs, because they're not going to do much from here.
Kicker's hoping with some sort of face out towards the connector control. Can't see Flamesy on the site. Flamesy might have caught vision. Yeah, he's creeping around, wins that duel. James does win a fight against Alexi, but bomb still contested by the CT forces. Valde could win out the fight with the Galil alone. Doesn't even need a full-blown weapon. He will look for the AK anyway. Grab a 4-1 scoreline for OG on the start.
It's not a setup that you see every day from OG. Typically, you sort of like fight early for that mid control and then set up a crossfire. Instead, they sort of took it a little bit later and they took it dry. They didn't have to use that utility and make the information known that they were having that triple crossfire set. You can see Alexi B looking down towards underpass, Nico in the short position, the AWP out from connector, and between the three of them, they just had a field day.
Wonderfully done there for OG to maintain their control, and Virtus.pro down to the Deagles on the half by round, immediately leaning up to the mid position where Alexi's hoping with the M4 that he can pick apart some decent frags. Edge of the smoke, he's caught off the bomb carrier and sees Sanji behind it. Orpa Mantu can follow suit or kick out towards the palace control. And yeah, OG, another good round where they can rip VP apart.
Not even taking damage has got to be the clinical moment of this round, just knowing how easy some of these picks have come through. And for Mantu, the last sort of month, maybe you could stretch it even to the last couple of months, he's really starting to find some good form. Very, very consistent for this OG side. And for VP, when you think about the investment, like, yeah, it's still an eco, but they still did invest somewhat heavily into this round. They haven't been able to get away with anything. Finally, just one kill.
But that might be the only kill they get here. Very tough for James to win this clutch. And OG know it. They've got guns in, the full AKs, the AWPs. Set in against the Deagle. James does win a fight against Nico, but dropped back by Valde. Triple up for Alexi B in that particular round, and of course control has been maintained to the fullest extent of the CT side. 5-1. OG in full control above VP here. The rifles are coming back.
A tactical timeout hasn't come through just yet, though, for the CIS squad, which is something to maybe consider over. They haven't been able to get off to the best of starts here on T-side of Mirage. OG getting into a position now where they're really starting to farm up cash. They've got a lot of money in the bank.
Nades on, Buster tagged, Orp into James. Looking for Valde, connects that first kill. Tanks an 8 to the face, however, so it's a 5-on-4 being gained. There's an update for you, by the way, from the mainstream matchup. Evil Geniuses have defeated Heroic, so they will be...
Damn.
The Danes will be in the lower bracket. And whoever loses this matchup might have to face them to get into the rest of the contest. But, of course, that means the winner of this game takes on EG in the UB Finals.
Oh, what a hot-looking EG to beat Spirit, now Heroic. Damn, that's a matchup that you've got to be keeping an eye out for. And for Virtus.pro, this is just a much better gun round from them. We saw the opening aggressive pick coming through from Jamie in the apartments. Yakinda now dealing with one himself. And for OG, Flamesy might even get caught off being aggressive too.
Walks out, kicker, does catch the kill. Molotov's in, trying to drive players away from the underbalk area. Nico's just going to wait back at the M4, however, just holding into the firebox entrance alongside Mantu's AWP. Talk about OG holding control. And there's a number of frags coming in for the M4s and the AWP, but with those shots coming in from those players, it means that VP can connect the dots and just secure the B site.
Yeah, B was open, so for OG, they take it as a little bit of a gamble. They get away with a couple of exit frags, but they're not going to go in for the retake. Hold that AWP, hold that AK, offer up B for Virtus.pro, take their second round, and for OG, just look to go in for the save, rebuy around the saved in rifles.
And just hold these weapons together, and plenty of money for the OG side. There's no sense in throwing away the AK or the AWP here. It would be a bit more difficult to justify going in for the retake. So yeah, they'll hold themselves together, and OG should be back on a confident buy. It will mean a second for VP. And that kind of clinical sort of slow style around is very, I think, very characteristic
VP?
of Virtus.pro. Yeah. So yeah, he's very Virtus.pro essentially. So seeing them work this so well against OG, it's an encouraging sign that if they can get their way, they can full on get their way, and OG will have very little they can do to resist.
It is a frustrating style to play against because it is just so slow. We can sometimes see from Virtus.pro, they're just like standing around for 50 seconds, a minute, not really doing much, just sort of waiting in mistakes, but being so methodical about the approach, really running down that clock. And in that round there, it worked out to a T. Like we just saw that as soon as James got that opening pick, look at the mistakes that get forced out by the City side. The easy duel for Yakinda, Flamesy then peeking in towards Palace, Kicker's ready for it. Just so many fights being won out off the basis of mistakes from their opposition.
The incendiary is in Sanji. I think he just took a nade out towards the apartments. Yakinda does find the opening kill on Mantu though. Straight out of mid. And again, VP with the opener. OG struggling to find a response here. They're so passive on the CT line. Nico's going to try face forward towards mid, but unsupported by utility. Him and Alexi just drive facing, hoping that one player can come up with a kill. Maybe an aid on Yakinda. That could do some damage. Incendiary might force him back. He's got a counter smoke though.
He's got a little bit of assistance from his teammates, but he can't stop evading these HGs. Further chip damage coming in. They really need a bit of a pick back for the CT side, and in a position for Virtus.pro where that bomb can start shifting back over from T-Spawn, OG, it's a massive lack of information right now because only Yakinda showed himself at mid.
Yeah, everybody else is being passive and careful. Virtus.pro and smokes out towards the CT bases, out towards Connector in particular. Kari smokes down a Buster, and Jane watches with the AWP. Slow facing around the corner. 40 seconds here, VP. Being very, very careful about their contact. Flamesy's ready for Buster though. He's so close towards Buster's angle. Flashbang into the assist, the kill. Manic sprays from both sides, comes up good for the T's, but Alexi B finds the trade out of jungle.
Oh, Yakinda, though, with this lurk out from ladder, catches off the rotation, 4 versus 2. This has got to be an instant save again from OG. And just the utility even out from Rap. They even catch Alexi B on the edge of the smoke.
Just creeping forward there. They knew he was there at that gap position. Unable to get the frags. So again, VP, confident stuff coming into these kills, coming into the slow style. And OG, well, Valde now definitively has to save as the last rifle left in. There's a little bit of limitations on the money line, so if he goes down, that could actually hurt the buy for OG. And Yakinda is on the hunt. As he's seen the head, he has. Tapping forward, Valde's got to reposition.
And not just swinging out to that fight, instead creeping the players in from market. One coming out from short, one from the apartments. There really should be no way he saves onto this.
Bomb goes up and VP get through, or taking all sorts of tank damage. They don't get him in time. VP and the M4 saved in that should allow the buy to return here from OG.
Just that flash out to ramp, just the protocol is everything is so on point there for Virtus.pro. They know exactly what they're doing, and as soon as A just gets lost like that, Yakinda's just sitting in ladder, and they've got absolutely no idea that he's there. Cuts off the short rotation as easily as that. And for Virtus.pro, they're actually taking a tactical after they've started converting rounds.
Kind of necessary given the circumstances here. I mean, they are suppressed against OG, but they're not getting the full-on, like, just swamping rounds. Yes, they are getting their way when it comes to their style, but they're not able to get the full-on frags against every player. I do love that, by the way. James got a fantastic mug.
I was gonna ask you thoughts of the spoon in the mug while drinking.
I'm gonna assume he's got soup there, because if you drink tea or coffee with a spoon in the mug, then you're doing it wrong. I mean, maybe that could be a Sir Yes thing. I don't know. Although respect to the mug size, credit to him. I love a big mug of tea, so credit to James.
No, OG. Ooh, did someone just get knifed in the back? Matsu's down to 70.
Possibly. Seemingly so. Kicker, it's not going to stop him from finding Alexi Beto straight in. Execution shot straight to the flick to the head. Flames, he can't find the trade. Now got to focus on everybody else. Mantu with his shot back on Yakinda. 3-on-3. Smoke to the left, peek to the right. Incendiary's back and forth. Mantu getting tagged up pretty heavy. Still focusing on trying to find a T-side member. Can't see the player up on the construction area. James. The AWP still forced back here. The Molotov again extinguished by the smoke. It's still suppressed. Buster finally breaks the stalemate, gets it to a 3 versus 2, and Mantu just can't trade it at all.
He's so desperate for a pick, but it's just not happening, is it? No one's giving him the fight. Finally, they get the man advantage. Valde trying to work on the smoke, though.
And for swing, see Sandy drops the bomb, looks for James next 2 versus 2. And Orpa Mantu looking to wrap over. Oh, Buster catches the frag. And 10 points of health for Mantu to try and turn it around. He's flashed out, blinded. And I think he might have also been seen by VP. The Orpa's already watching the angle, and James does connect the 3 kills, connect the 4th round for Virtus.pro. Took a little bit of time to get the T-side spooling, but now it's going.
Mantu just had such a difficult hold. What a run out from Kick It towards that ramp position. Does get traded really early on. Valde makes a pretty decent play behind the back of triple, but Virtus.pro just slowing it right down, using their utility, and Mantu just struggled to find a pick in that whole situation.
For OG, rifles in and gets their name. Immediately the AWP gets the frag on a scout player. Boost up. James still doubles up against Flamesy. Buster gets dealt with. Valde can double up. Yekindar trades back to the SMG, and Nico's only got a USP to deal with them all. Good efforts there from the rifle players of the OG side, but it was just a little bit too little. Kick out will find that final frag as Mantu gets cleaned up as well. 5-all. OG, solid start. Virtus.pro, solid response.
It's looking pretty competitive right now for Virtus.pro, and when you look at their map pool right now, Nuke is their insta-ban, Vertigo's been very shaky as of late, and, well, Mirage is one of the weakest maps in their pool, so to see them playing at this kind of a level, to see them being able to tie up the scoreline at 5-5, they've been working really hard on T-side.
Oh. Looking down for James, hoping to catch players. Jumping, looking for some sort of a shot into the mid position so far. Very little is given up. VP have the passive defaults held. They will not look to break this line because it's been working so well to find the opening frags. The question is, when do they start to move forward? That is the big thing for them.
And notice how these last few rounds, when the AWP has been in the hands of Mantu, he's been so much more passive. Like before, he was playing in and around connector. He was looking to try and get sort of up close and aggressive in the mid defaults, where now he's being forced quite deep into the ace side behind that triple box.
Walking forward for Yakinda and Sanji. Alexi B is going to be the man to try and contact them. Nico's going to have to let them slip past to the midst of the smoke. Walk forward, they capture Lexi. Flamesy's also being hurt, sprayed up out in the open. T-side players running out of ammo, but eventually Yekindar with a secondary face gets the secondary kill. A 5 versus 3, Virtus.pro. Overwhelming here on the ace side take, and I think OG are probably saving the guns.
Yeah, go for the save again. Not going to be going in for that retake. They've got jungle control. They deal with Yakinda, so maybe they might have a crack at this now. No, they're out of there.
Nah. just waiting for the moment when they actually struck back, but no, just rotating in towards the B site. Again, it makes a lot of sense for OG. They're very limited on money.
And even that distraction, notice how Sanji and Yakinda start putting a top con smoke down and just start working in and around it. They deal with Alexi B, and as soon as that kill comes out, you've just got a spamming player towards the top of Palace looking to underback, and for Flamesy, he's then, doesn't really know where to look. Do I look towards the top of Palace? Do I look out from ramp? Do I look out from connector? And that slight hesitation between looking at 3 different spots at the same time just means the A just gets flooded and overwhelmed so easily.
Flashes over for Virtus.pro, trying to suppress. Keep OG from hunting for the frags, and in the end, that's VP with that confidence in that round. Only one player going down for them. Tactical pause called in by OG because, well, they had their confident start, and Virtus.pro just come out with even better confidence in the T-side line. How do they break it? How do they find a way put back their own stance onto Virtus.pro?
Well, just by looking at the CT positioning, you can just see how passive they are right now in comparison to the early rounds. So maybe the adaptation is just taking map control away, whether it's having a deep apartment smoke or whether it's getting slightly aggressive into ramp or even taking some early fights underpass or mid. They're giving too much respect up for Virtus.pro, and in those sort of defaults, we're just seeing how many lurk attempts coming through from Yakinda, whether it's towards a top of con or into ladder. He's sneaking through so many map avenues.
Not one the difference for Virtus.pro in the lead. Ooh, Mantu not knowing where to aim, and overcooked, overcompensated. Kicker finds the kill on Alexi B. Big blunder there in the mid position, and that might cost OG everything here. Virtus.pro tanking nades and now working out Flamesy. The M4 watching back over towards the CT spawn. Bit of a gap there for Volde to work with, so maybe if they cross out into the open, then they could get caught on the turnaround. Flamesy's burning, whereas the smoke, it comes in, but he burns so much damage being done. Volde does exploit that smoke, however, it does turn it to a 4 versus 4.
The bomb's dropped in the open. Jamer's got a seriously late lurk out from the B apartment, so I wonder how this is going to come into play. Just bring the bomb over.
Yeah, they're going to just rotate towards the B side because they know that they haven't got all the presence on the A side. They haven't gone for the full-blown execution, so they can just walk out. The short control's contested by Nico. That's the one thing that Jamer's not been able to account for. He is going to have to be the hero of this round. Will he rotate all the way and catch off that AWPer in the market doorway? That's the best thing that Nico can do at this stage.
Surely Nico doesn't read that someone's already out at market. Maybe there's a one-on-one trade, but even in this position, like, James should be able to cut off the rotations that come through from CT.
He's going to be so exposed. As soon as he gets this kill, he's going to be so exposed. To the lineup, gets that spray together, drops the bomb all importantly, and actually rotates away. The AWPer of James, slow walking, expecting some short presence, expecting him to come towards market. He's broken the crossfire for the moment, and the AWPer looks back towards short. Nico can just get the triple. Look for the quadra against Sandy. 6 seconds to the clock. He will find that one frag, but 4 seconds down. Mantu stalled for enough time. He loses his life, but Sanji loses the round.
What a play. What a sick move to come through from Nico, because you can see what VP is setting up there. They get the entry frag out towards the A side. It gets slowed down. Jame realizes B is open. Let's bring the bomb back in, and Nico gets 2 kills, drops that bomb in the apartments. Sanji does everything he can to get that round back, but the time, it's just not there.
Tactical timeout taken on the T side. It's Virtus.pro leaving a big gap in the fence. I guess they're probably figuring out how Nico was able to sneak into the site itself and how he was able to hold off against so many OG players. I mean, they had basically cleared it out. They extended so far up to market. But OG, that's a massive round. 6-all again against VP. They should be able to go back on the buy as well. Virtus.pro will be able to force the same issue, and indeed, guns are out. Alexi B will follow suit. There is a lack ahead Kevlar, but against the AKs, that's fine.
And they had to expect, with the amount of presence they showed on A, the OG had just completely over-rotated, but Nico was still holding the short position, and that was the unknown entity. 6-6, we get tied up, but even the buyback for OG, there are some limitations when it comes to the util behind them. Out to Palace, kick it gets 2!
Straight out of the sprays, down 5-on-3 gained. VP. Kicker, the only player tagged up in his engagements, have just done so much. Kindar's going to find Nico also in mid control, and Alexi and Mantu just left to hold off the sites on their lonesome. Essentially 1v5 scenarios, whichever site they go to, and it will be A. Technically, bet is Alexi B as the M4, and he wins 2 good fights, but Sanji immediately with a trade out of connector, through the smoke to the head. The bomb can get picked up and planted. Mantu can't defend anymore.
Yeah, that was still a pretty nasty shot out from Sanji with the top con smoke in. It's difficult to land that onto Alexi, but he holds the best that he can. I mean, when you're a solo anchor and you've got so many T-side players to fend off against, you drop the bomb, you waste a little bit more time, you get a couple of kills, but it's still not a play that's going to win you the round. Mantu's just wanting to save onto the AWP. And for Virtus.pro, that round was pretty much just won by the double entry out from Palace.
Orp being hunted, Yekindar seeing him, tap up to the head immediately, not wasting any time, not going to go for knife shenanigans. Virtus.pro, well, losing 1 round, returning immediately, resetting OG. That confidence is not going to get broken by a single pushback. It's not going to get broken by 1 round from the OG side. They've got to do a lot more than just that one.
Yeah, you're right about that. And this hurts even more, like you mentioned, for them to be able to win 1, lose the next, and just get reset. Frustration coming out for Nico, knowing that now they're in a position in which they're going to have to sort of be on a bit of a force buy for him, but half buy for everybody else.
Big up and Nico. James, what? You're kidding. You're joking. Oh, Flamesy. He's walked past Yakindar, looks back to Buster, turns around that deagle. Kicker trades it back all the same. I can't believe James won that duel. OG losing it, forcing back out of the A site. The bomb plant will be secured simply, and I don't think the retake will be on. They might throw themselves at it for the eco. But man, that's going to be a tilting frag for Nico to lose.
Great adjustment on the flick down to come out from Jay, but he's just hopping around out to that short position, ends up backing off, getting that kill. Valde does find 1 on the deagle, so it is something, and see the player towards Ticket, but without Kit, there's not really much more that he can find.
AK just wraps the corner. Kicker's right around it. Sprays through, can't win the fight. Even then he's dead out of time. Does find Kicker in the end to do damage to the VP side. But does not win the round for OG. It's 8.5 for the T's.
This is very disappointing from OG. If you really want to be a bit harsh about it, they were up 5-1 on their map pick, and now it's just been like ripped. You get a position in which Flamesy has a pretty decent hold there towards a Palace position, but still, Virtus.pro are starting to come into their own. They're starting to actually get into a lead, and not only that, but just start pulling rounds forward now.
OG have 1 more final round, which they can buy into here in this half. Orps in for Mantu, and they back towards the top mid position. Virtus.pro, of course, plenty of money. Even after losing 5 players, they can get the full sets of util, the AKs, the AWP back on James. Alexi and Flamesy. Connect to control stacking. Sandy from underpass, and Flamesy might account for this.
Yeah, Kinder is just trying to see if he can get one of these mid picks again. Emphasis out towards Connector. Molly towards the top mid boxes too.
Molotov's in, Flamesy gonna get caught. Sanji gonna lean forward. Alexi B does find the kill. Burning down heavy for Sanji's par. Does find the trade at least, and Alexi being on 5 points of health should be easy enough for the trade later for Virtus.pro. For now, it's a 4v4. OG can't quite maintain the full control.
Yakenda does fall very early, but at least they open up mid, and for OG, the protocol now is just trying to fall back, be a little bit more passive. They've left Nico out from ladder, who could potentially get swung on if this mid presence continues into a bit of a split to be up short. Oh, missed top con smoke.
Yeah, that's going to hurt them. 38 seconds. I think they're going to have to force the issue. Just flash over. Try cross back. Flash in towards the ladder room allows Nico to go blind, and the kick up will capitalize on the kill. Valde has Alexi B joining him. The moment's time is Mantu with the AWP plans every shot on short. 2 kills on Kicker and James. Buster still focusing. Gets tagged up. Alexi falling next towards the AK, 2v2, Virtus.pro, 10 seconds. That bomb's still in the open. Buster's got to go back and get it. They've got to get the kills pretty quick. Over on the 4 points of health, and now Sanji's way out of position for this. So long as OG hide, they'll win the 7th to make it as close to half as possible. 8-7 for VP going into the second half.
I might be tired at the stones they throw, picking up scars and I hold them close. They shot me down, but I got this fight. Shine a light on me when my heart goes dark. Yeah, 'cause I'll never lose faith now. I'm in the flames of an angel. Fire, fire, burn. Fire, fire. And even if I'm broken, I'm cold but my blood's not frozen. Fire, fire, burn. I'm dying to tell you I'm a I beat my fears, but I lost my dreams. Yeah, they say this fight isn't what it seems. Yeah, shoot 'em all down when my demons rise. Couldn't win, so I joined their side. Breathe it in till the day I die. And even if I'm broken, I'm cold but my blood's not frozen. Fire, fire, burn. I'm dying to tell you I'm a wildfire. I'm dying to tell you I'm a wildfire.
As close as you can get it to open up this upper bracket series between OG and Virtus.pro. The OG side are trailing behind, but only by a single round. As the CT side goes up here for Mirage, VP have established their confidence. They have established themselves as a dominant force here, and OG have got to have to work hard to make this work here. Onto the T side line of their map pick. It's going to have to go well for the pistol for me, Dweg.
And it may have been looking a little bit more cruisy and simple for OG or Mirage against NIP, but in this matchup, it seems like it's a little bit more of a brawl. Virtus.pro really giving the fight to them, even taking a slight lead going into the second half. And you've got to imagine for OG, if they can get off to a good start like they did in the first half of that 5-1, this could be them sort of kick-starting their T side.
The odds still at 1xbet are still most certainly down to the wire. Dead set even between OG and VP, so keep your eyes on this one, because it's still set to be close. OG out into the apartments, default with the double flash smoke for Alexi B. The smoke and defuse for Sanji, hearing everybody coming down. Going to put that smoke initiative to try and block off some sort of suppression. Seeing two players drop back out, they'll make their way ahead of it. Jane, 2 taps as the smoke bursts out towards the window area a little bit late. 5-on-3 scenario. That bomb's crossed out towards Bench. Has got to cross back to the site here. Get down on the site itself and force Virtus.pro to make the move.
Oh, they've even got a backstab into the apartment. So much map control being taken, and Alexi's been seen.
Kandar with the USP. Looking to the right, Alexi B facing, gets that kill together. 4v3 scenario, tags up. Utility back down, Mantu so aggressive and the CTs are not ready for it. 2 shots back, Buster to 18 points of health. Sandy creeping up as Buster gets one frag and two somehow. What? Alexi finally shuts him down, but now it's all on Sanji, making a lot of noise on the site. On the defuse, taps it, sticks it. Gonna have to force Alexi out into the open. He knows he's there, and the swing lands the 3K, lands the pistol for OG.
A beautiful recovery coming through onto the post-plant defensive, because you could see for Virtus.pro, they had a double kill in from James, who's playing out for Market window, but it was Mantu to bring the frags back, getting aggressive up from Market, and then just a big clutch coming through in the end from Alexi B that hypes up Nico.
Atoll to the board. VP immediately on that force back with the Deagles, the FAMAS, the Scouts. All sorts coming inbound. Smokes and the HGs, the flashes also at bay. Sanji jump facing, the smoke at the ready to try and suppress and hold them back. Nades coming in, Buster with an eagle. Doesn't even require it. Tanji gets the kill to open up. Looking back for more heads out of Atlas, struggling to hit them here. Valde bailed out by Mantu, and Nico gets a MAC-10 frag. 4 versus 3 scenario. James held back with the scout. The bomb plant should be secured here. And Virtus.pro aren't able to go for much.
They just get driven away by the utility and the man disadvantage. I had to really see that last kill in for Valde to drop lower than 4 points of health for VP to start considering bringing players back over from the A site for the retake. And for OG, at least being able to follow up and to not lose to the force buy means that they can win a couple of rounds in a row. The positive lining here for Virtus.pro, even in this situation, is that they've got a FAMAS, they've got a Scout and a Deagle they can bring into the next round, but not converting the force is not where you want to be.
OG back in the lead. A single round separates them and VP at the moment. They were trailing behind a few moments ago, but now here we are, 9-8 to the board. But probably down to the eco in this next round, as you can imagine. The money line being a little bit wrecked on that force invest. They did save a few weapons coming in, so there will still be a couple of Deagles and the FAMAS and the Scout. MAC-10's in for OG, however, looking to clean house against these weapons. The two players with the head Kevlar and Yekindar and Kicker, though, could be a bit of a thorn in their side.
Great economy management, too, for OG. They invested into so many MAC-10s in that last round, only lost one player. They're going to do the same strat again.
Yekindar with a frag back, overwhelmed by the flashbang, claims he comes in with the kill. Jane there with the Scout still holds out. The MAC-10 of Lexi comes in with his kill, and Valde turns around with 2 on the short control, even if the Kicker in a 1 versus 3 situation. Flashed out of position, still makes his way in market. Alexi might not be ready for this. I think he saw him, though. Maybe he didn't. He definitely has now. But either way for Kicker, there should be no retake in for this unless he goes super quick, hits every headshot perfectly on the first bullets. And that's just too much.
That was a nice little gamble lean to come out for Virtus.pro. OG doing a very similar strat, a couple of rounds in a row, and comes down to a position in which Yekindar gets a pick, James does too, but really no more than that happens. Only damage onto Alexi B. OG now get up to double digits, up to 10th, and this is probably where the international squad at least starts feeling a little bit more comfortable, knowing they've got to that breaker of 10, and knowing they're stretching their lead to 2 now. Buy back in for Virtus.pro. AWP upgrade coming in pretty quickly for James. Wants to try and get that through as quickly as they can once they start getting the rifles in.
Yeah, Virtus.pro had a bit of a shaky start there in this opening half, so maybe in the second half it might be a similar case where they have to take some time before they get confident again. And at that point, maybe there is an opportunity to re-establish that Virtus.pro style. Right now it's the first gun round in, and the Galils spraying throughout towards the mid position, smoke back at Yekindar. Suppressing towards connector control, but OG just wrapping over into the apartments.
Now, no one's only brought down to body Kevlar, so the idea of keeping it as a little bit of a bonus still for that MAC-10 for Flamesy, not upgrading it, could still work out, but obviously it is going to be a little bit more difficult to let that thing run wild as a bit of an entry frag up. Another B-site hit by the looks of it for OG.
60 seconds, flashes inbound on Nico to allow the entries. It's all on Sanji. Mac 10 to jump out into the window. Sanji's holding against Flamesy. Flamesy still wins that fight. Buster with a quick trade, smoke down, but it doesn't bloom in time. Volde catches him with a spray. The bomb gets secured, and Virtus.pro is saving immediately, not wasting any time whatsoever. Do not want to concede any more weapons at all.
Now, I wonder, because we always know that Sanji's the kind of guy that gets a FAMAS and an MP9 when everyone else gets the AWP or the AUG or the M4, that because they know that he's the B anchor and they're taking it as a bonus round, they think that they'll probably have a better chance of being able to overwhelm a site that's got lesser weaponry than over at A. I mean, they keep hitting B over and over again, and then you start getting into the mind games of the whole scissors, paper, rock. Well, he's not going to do scissors again because he's done it 3 times in a row. Now that starts playing the mind games on Virtus.pro, well, do we need to stack up B in case they do hit B for the 4th time?
Possibility here at this stage. OG suffering heavily to no one. Virtus.pro are the ones that are having to force the issue time and time again. At least their entries are just looking so confident from the T-side line. What the VP have to do to stop OG now? There's just sheer rushes are coming in, and that might be the key to success at this stage. M4s, AUGs, AWP for Jame. Into the mid defaults here for the T side. Burst through with Yakindar doing its damage. Not getting any early kills.
And Matu, even setting himself up behind the incendiary, picks off Sanji. They might just be able to run into B again. There's only one anchor.
Buster's going to get joined by Yakinda in a moment, however, so it might not be that way for too long. 2-2 split on either side, leaving mid completely open for OG, but they're going towards the apartments play. It feels like this is going to be another B position, and Virtus.pro are reading it very early here. Ooh, actually to underpass. They might buy some options open.
If they start allowing some mid control, this just at least gives some pressure away for OG to start running the clock and just trying to work a bit of a pick. Jame is now repositioned out from window.
And 2 leaning up. Kneeling for Alexi. Yakindar. AUG out of this.
Split B.
Smoke's going down. Yeah, this seems to be the case. It's careful placement to ensure they draw CTs back over towards the A site, ensure that they keep them second guessing. Utility inbound to the short control. It will be Buster and Jame. The AWP in particular being the highlight position. Incendiary back. Buster's gonna have to smoke that down and hold down his hard cover. Flamesy makes his way in. Jane deals with Manji for the first frag. Can't quite find Flamesy. Boulder getting closer and closer. Yakindar comes up with 1 kill. Buster responds, and Nico holds it back to a 2 versus 2. Buster known, tagged up, into the smoke, can see both T-side members and get the triple to hold VP in with the round.
He was the last line of defense is really what it comes to. Jame just gets overwhelmed, only gets that 1 shot off, and Buster just holds his ground out from the van angle. The smoke almost creates a little bit of a one-way for him just to work on the crack on that left-hand side, up to 9. And for OG, I wonder if that plays onto their minds. Okay, let's maybe have something over to A this time.
A big round now for VP to follow up with. They've got the UMP involved for Sanji, but they've got double ops as well for Jamin. Buster immediately Jamin with the first frag on Nico. Backing up that forward, Mantu forward again, doesn't quite win that fight. Court repositioning, and Mantu gets 2 entries for it. Basically clearing out the A site, and Alexi B follows suit on Buster. Flamesy so close to Yakindar, past his smoke as the difference maker between these 2 players. He'll have to find that trade, but Alexi there with a quick response, so it's all left to Sanji. And that UMP left to do all the work here. All the main rifles have fallen. There's nothing that he can challenge.
Just Jame playing with his food a little bit there. Gets a great opportunity to hold on to the 5 and 4. Just fall back, play passive instead. Holds the angle for far too long. Just gets swung on. And Mantu gets 2 quick kills to open up the side. And even just Yakinda in towards that connector control only gets that 1 for 1. Alexi B so quick to the trade. And for Virtus.pro, just when they convert their first to the second half, Jay gets answered back in what feels like an instant.
OG tactical coming in for them because, well, they're out of chances. Ripped apart effectively. Virtus.pro left to simmer at this moment. OG just applying the pressure and figuring out where they maintain their confidence from. Yes, they have lost that 1 good round there on the awkward lurk at the edge of the smoke, but that's just 1 round in this half. VP, outside of that, their CT side has yielded nothing.
And after they look so convincing on T side, when they slow the rounds down, when they're working their defaults, you almost imagined that going into the second half with the momentum that had been built up, that we'd see it be close and be quite a competitive scoreline, but instead OG are just pulling this lead further and further away.
Kindar with a smoke down, Incendiary's out, trying to block off in the underpass control for the moment. Nades on, damage done, Yakindar facing up. Trying to get aggressive, trying to catch off an angle here towards the right-hand side of mid. Maybe Flamesy or Volta could give it up above that smoke. But they are being very careful about this, and VP again are not given a chance to open.
But as soon as that smoke starts to dissipate, he's got to get out of there. He can't just be a sitting duck in from mid. Bit more of a lean towards A, just leaving Sanji alone with the deagle out from the B site. A couple of players forcing down quite a lot, while not the case for everybody.
.60 seconds, and OG are leaning into the A play. Initially here, they have got the mid control, one lurker out towards Palace. Could rotate into towards the full B commitment via short. Top con smoke though from Buster. Try and keep him away. Is there a gap in that one actually that he might be able to utilize that?
They've got to be worried about this clock, Jay, because if they run it too low and they start running into the stack, this is where things get sloppy.
I think they are going to run into the stack as well. Only the AWP on short to watch down a sniper's nest. Nico in the Palace control, Buster with the awkward spray, Flamesy opens up the round. Looking back on Yakindar, Sanji burns alive, Nico and Flamesy come up with those trades as appropriate, and Yakindar in the back lines of the site, can't see the bomb carrier, can't connect Nico, Volde with a trade, and Jane with a P250 known back in CT. Forced away by utility, and OG will stand their ground.
And you just can't vision how important that Palace lurk is until the action actually happens. You can see Buster gets caught off just trying to spam on the edge of that smoke. And for Flamesy, he's the distraction element that no one is really aware of Virtus.pro. Couple of kills coming out, brings attention over, just allows more entries to flow through. Yakinda only gets away with that one kill, has to adjust back over, just doesn't happen. OG's T side has been really just, you can't fault it. It's been very, very solid. It's been very tactical based. And for Virtus.pro, they are just struggling. They can't really get a grip in this second half.
And I was thinking that VP were the solid ones on the T half. Look at Yakindar, however, looking to reinstate his confidence against that AWP picking Jame there with a double as well. Turns around against Alexi B. Both players coming in with a 2-for-1 trade. And finally, the CTs have an advantage.
And that looks a little bit better. Nice little adjustment shot on the flick coming through for Jame. Valdo looking to try and see if he can open up the B side, but he's got to be careful of making a play himself because his teammates are still following him behind.
Ollie in, M4 out. Barney trying to look up against Buster or Sanji, but can't see either individual. OG rotate away. Set up the nades, the smokes. Let's go down towards that B play perhaps, or fake it out. What's the call here from the T side?
It all just comes to the read, doesn't it? Can they start getting a bit of an idea on the situation? For Virtus.pro, however, things are really passive from them, and they're just not giving anything away. They're not making any sound cues on rotation, not really using any of this light utility they have, but Jame is sort of looking in between two angles towards window and from connector.
Ollie's boosted up to cut off rotations in the mid control. They have got a 2-2 split involved for VP again. Only two players to get the attack going. Sanji's UMP is going to push forward. Can Mantu catch it? Falls back out of the apartments. Didn't see anything at all. They think a backstab might be involved here. Orpa Jame. Awkward flick has seen Valde. Smoke down. Going to come through to try and suppress. Sanji's going to get Molotov out here. Burning to 2 points of health. Can Mantu or Nico drop in? They can get that kill. Buster in the back lines drops that one player. The bomb's still on the back of the AK-47, and Volde picks up the frag, so 2v2. Bomb plant finally secured. Mantu on the AWP instead. Base to the right, gets the kill on Jame, and Kicker now alone in the clutch.
1v2, AWP's already repositioned out towards a van angle. Very low HP. Kicker's got to try and isolate these individual frags.
The M4 leans up, Mantu. Watching on that bomb's position, knows that he hasn't really got a peek in anywhere, just got to wait for Kicker to cross, get the shots in, get the 3K, get the 14th for OG, closing in on the win. VP now down by 5, and this CT side really has fallen apart for them.
They've got to make the tough decision here, Jay. 4 Spy or Eco. double AWP set up out in that last one, and it started off so well, didn't it? 4-on-3 advantage. Yakinda's AWP gets one, James' AWP two, but it was the play from Valde to sneak in from mid, being boosted up into sort of the sniper's nest area, get all the way in from market, and that backstab play, that was the round winner.
OG feeling euphoric in each of these rounds, winning out against Virtus.pro time and time again. I guess recognizing that they've been beaten down over the course of that first half, and it's just great to get a little bit of payback, if you will. Small technical pause for the OG side before we get into round 24. Virtus.pro definitely got to be feeling a little bit stressed. I mean, OG are the ones that are looking a little bit stressed on some players. But yeah, they're down to the dumps right now. How do VP turn this around?
Well, I don't know, really. When I look at the whole landscape of them on CT, there's even been rounds in which, like the last one, where they got opening fights, they got opening man advantages, but they're not converting. So maybe making phrases like, oh, they've got to look for an opening pick, they've got to look for an early advantage. There's been rounds in which they've done that, but they still haven't converted. So whether it just comes down to maybe being a little bit more risky in some of these late rounds, being a little bit more gamble stack heavy, might be something they can lean into. Like when you're down 9-14, you don't really have a lot of limitations to fall back onto. So in terms of your setups and your protocols, you do have to be a little bit more risk-based.
How many risks can one take, though, before a get punished significantly and lose out in the map up? For OG, it's a pick in on one of their favorite maps in the pool, so having Mirage here is definitely not too shocking to see them have success on it. But Virtus.pro, the T side looks so good here. What do they need to do on CT to reestablish that confidence?
It's probably just about dictating pace is something they're struggling with. That was something that they were doing on the T side really well, that they were just slowing the rounds down. They felt like they were the ones sort of making the moves, right? Where they were sneaking into areas, they were catching OG off detected. And maybe making some more lurk plays is another one. It's going to be a very difficult, obviously, on City side of Mirage, but maybe having a little bit more of, like, not solo aggression, but just trying to get a little bit more aggressive, try and see if you could take map control away and just get that sneaky-like structure forward, because that was something that was very successful for them in the first half.
We are aware that Nico's returning to the server in a moment's time, so he should be back on track to get ready for this next round. Virtus.pro still down by 5, still need to turn something over, and I'm not sure whether the buy is going to be particularly comfortable for the VP camp. Yakindar has force bought an M4. Everybody else, though, is it just going to be Hero M4 here? They're going to force around it,
right?
Surely they must. I was going to pose that question to you.
Yeah, got to buy it up. No point in a situation like this when you're down by 5 and you're getting close towards the overtime marker. If 1 or 2 players are going to force, everyone's got to do so. And for Virtus.pro, it's do or die really in round 24 for them.
Jane with a scout. Good headshot on Flamesy. Stellar shot. Opening things up for the VP camp, but only so far as that 1 kill. OG backing off, VP forcing in the rotations. If they had a lurk play and a set up towards the B side, that immediately would have been a bomb plant, I think.
Yeah, that is very true. Virtus.pro now starting to bring players back over to A, and for OG, it just comes down to where do they start to regroup. They've had that lurk of Mantu into TV, hasn't seen anyone pushing majorly aggressively, so they know that they can look back into that position. And for Virtus.pro, mid is now a position in which they could just clear out and realize that it's completely open.
Only 1 player contesting it. Orperman 2 round of the corner. Yakindar's backed up. Jame watching early. Orp v Scout. Can he hit another headshot? No, he can't. Yakindar's going to force forward. Catch Mantu off guard. Get the kill in. Can he get Alexi B as well? No, not quite. A 5v3, and this Hero M4 might actually work out pretty well for them. Scout can't get the second player, but Alexi now knows what's going on. They're going to push full send in towards the B site now. Sanji backed up. Nico's got the bomb. He gets the kill past the smoke and should get the plant in soon.
James really can't force forward from here. He's got to maintain the man advantage and wait for the rotations to come down in time. They've still got a mid player of Yakindo who's now picked up the orb.
Valde watching the kicker, sees that cross, spray through, goes awkwardly for Valde, he's caught on the reload, Buster can get the next kill, and Alexi and Nico now up to challenge against the entire CT force. Spray through on one, James finds the trade, Alexi's all alone, tapped up once the Molotov will come in, and that might actually aid them here. There's no kit in for VP, no smoke either. Win the fight against Kicker, and now he's still alive. James gonna get right on the bomb, as Yekindar's gonna cover him off. Alexi with the face, gonna look towards the short control, and the AWP lands the kill. Have they got the defuse hit? It will be very last second. James has got it, and it will be a survival round for VP. 10 to the board.
And just in that position too, you could see Alexi B was just reading that the crossfire was going to be set, looking out towards that short position, but how vital that was for Yekinder to get the kill out from mid, be able to pick up the AWP and just post himself on angle. James has got the confidence that Yekinder is going to be able to hit that shot, get that bomb defused, and for Virtus.pro, take it as a survival round.
An all-important one at that. Incendiaries and nades immediately coming into the CT side. Virtus.pro not allowing OG. Not showing us on the attack. Yekindar again going to try and do early damage towards Flames. He put that nade back up. That doesn't quite catch him. He retreats away. VP. James up for the face, but Nico just instantly swings, gets 2 kills for his trouble. Yekindar back tap, burst, tap in the leg, the shoulder I should say, of Alexi B. And Nico turns back on Yekindar now, leaving it to 2 of VP.
Oh, what a moment for Nico to just run out like an absolute madman, out from ramp, 1 kill, 2 kill, oh, let's make it a triple entry. The A site is completely clear, and Sanji and Buster, well, they've just got to save onto their weapons.
Sanji's hoping that someone makes their way through the murder hole so he can get an extra kill on the SMG, some bonus money, an extra rifle. But like you mentioned, it's just a safe kill for VP. And going into round 15, that's the worst time to do so. They just won one, so their loss bonus is going to be lesser than max. And, I mean, they're just in trouble now, Virtus. They're really in trouble against OG. Oh, they're trying to see if we can jump face into the ladder and catch up a flank against the CT player, but nobody is here, so... 15 from that point for OG on their map pick, looking good up against VP. And again, it was all in the T sides for these squads.
You got to give a lot of credit for OG to making it so uncomfortable for Virtus.pro that they just can't follow up rounds. And we just see these pings coming in for Nico, just one after another, just swinging out from Rab, just finding some unreal connection shots. But Virtus.pro, they've won 2 rounds on City side, Jay, and both of them have been individually won from them, and every time they've lost the follow-up, their economy's just been wrecked. Even round 26 coming into it, Sanji's going to be on an MP9.
Partially down to that force buy, I guess, from the previous one, which was able to deny them the economy. Having no savings left. AWP in a James. Into the AWP Man 2, and Man 2 wins the fight. It's good start for OG. 1 of 5 kills required to close out this map.
And in all the AWP duels, we haven't seen a massive amount, but it does feel as if Man 2 has been winning out that duel onto James on a pretty consistent basis. Maybe more so in the second half than the first. But that's the kill that gets them the amount advantage, and they could just start working this mid pick. They've still got Alexi B as a lurking Palace.
Yekindar loses his fight to Valde, straight to the headshot. And they're leaning into the A site with the 2 CT standing in. Buster and Kicker will be the last line of defense for Virtus.pro. And that line is crumbling. It's falling apart with Alexi B finding Buster. Kicker killed off by Nico so early. And Sanji and SMG to clutch this. Won't even try for the fire through the smoke. Has no idea where that bomb's going down. No kit, no rifle, and surely no chance.
How does he win this? Get in towards window. Val has even heard the footstep. This should be an easy kill coming through. Head being turned 16 to 10. OG converting their map pick in style over on the T side.